Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to bring you a complete guide on how to play Rakan's LAVALOON miner deck, which is the #1 LAVALOON deck in the meta right now. This deck is very powerful on offense, however, it can be a bit of a struggle for a new player to learn how to play this deck. So if you're new to this lava deck, this is the perfect video for you guys. We're going to be going over tons of matches that ranging from beatdown to cycle and just showing you a broad view of how you should play this deck. Hope you guys can benefit from the video, and if you do, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, and I hope you enjoy the video. Alright, so basically, if you guys are new to the channel, usually I do live games, and it's pretty fun, entertaining videos. You can gain something out of it because I do my best to explain my gameplay, but it's not perfect. This type of video with the replays, I'm going to be completely 100% focused on explaining to you my plays and how this deck works. So off the bat, this guy goes Golden Knight, Fire Spirit, and I see the Eye Dragon here, and I'm like, okay, this is probably looking like E-Giant. However, you know, it doesn't really matter this early on in the game. We just went with the Inferno to take out his Golden Knight. That's kind of the best play I had right there. And then we used the Miner to stop the Golden Knight from dashing, which was a pretty simple play there, just because there's no reason to take that Golden Knight damage, you know? Absolutely no reason. So here, the E-Giant in the back, annoying, because now we can't play Skelly Drags behind our lava. The only thing we can do is use the balloon. We do use the balloon here. However, the anti-NATO placement didn't quite work here, which is a little bit annoying, so he was able to NATO to King Tower. We probably might have won the game if I had placed that correctly. The anti-NATO placement, basically what it does, you can nudge the balloon to the side with your lava hound, and it will make it ignore certain building placements like this cannon that the guy did, and also tornadoes to the King Tower. Sadly, it didn't work that time. However, the whole idea was to get this guy to spend elixir on defense so that we could get our barbs down and full counter his E-Giant for +2 elixir. So the E-Giant, of course, is going to be a tough matchup with this deck since we don't have a building. So it's going to be very important to have a good balance of defense and offense here. Basically, you're going to see as the game goes on what I mean by the balance of offense and defense. This game is much more trickier because he does have the Inferno Dragon, which manages to get rid of our lava really fast. So we're just going to set up this thing again, and he is back to the E-Giant. That's lovely. That's how 3-card cycle works. Oh, I hate E-Giant, dude. I actually hate E-Giant. But yeah, basically, we're just cycling here back to our barbs. Luckily, we weren't too far behind the cycle because he doesn't really have a cycle deck. He just got out-cycled us. He kind of out-cycled us with the Golden Knight at the beginning. So we take a little bit of damage. We're only down 300, which is actually pretty good. I go lava like this. Now, the key is to try and get the LAVALOON push as advanced as we can before he goes with his E-Giant. So I basically, what I mean by that is we wanted our LAVALOON push to kind of just like be started by the time he gets his E-Giant down, because if we get a lava down before he gets his E-Giant down, basically what happens is we're playing with the advantage because he has less elixir and also he has to respond faster than we do. So baiting out the NATO here with the Inferno Dragon, what we're going to do now is go with the drags. They are going to be used to try and kill this Eye Dragon, and we're going to use a miner to tank and get some chip damage over there. We zap at the last second, and as you can see, the Skelly Drags and Inferno Dragon were enough to take out his E-Giant. Although we took a crap ton of damage, all that matters is we saved the tower. And so now, since our initial pushes are done, we have the miner, the balloon, the zap, and the arrows in order to try and get some chip damage on the guy's tower when it's low enough. So that's the whole kind of goal with this matchup. We were trying to get this guy low enough so that we could get into chip damage range, because we're not going to survive against an E-Giant player going like trading E-Giant and lava pushes. It's not going to work. So we had to get him down in one big push. Even if it meant taking a lot of E-Giant damage, we did manage to come out on top. Alright, game number 2 versus Teddy is going to be a Golem matchup. This is one of the 3 main Golem decks that had been being run a while ago before the Phoenix released. It was Golem Arrow Zap, Golem Pump with the E-Dragon, the Phoenix, E-Drag, Skelly Drags, whatever, and also this deck with the Baby Dragon. But the Baby Dragon has since been replaced by the Phoenix because the Baby Dragon it outshines the Phoenix in literally no way except cuteness, I guess. But anyways, this guy is running Tombstone Barbell, so I was thinking Graveyard for a second there, but after he showed the Night Witch, I was just going to go with the Inferno Dragon because now I know he's running Golem. Also, no Night Witch decks are run without Golem, or without a beatdown card, I should say. So the Inferno Dragon here was good, and we just zap so that I can cycle a lava in front of this, because I know this guy's deck, the Golem Tombstone deck, I know it. So we were able to just go ahead and lava in front of this Inferno Dragon and get a ton of value out of the Inferno Dragon. And for some reason, this guy went Golden Knight opposite lane, and so he literally has no elixir to defend, and he messed up the bar barrel placement, because if he had been able to counter the Inferno Dragon with that bar barrel, he wouldn't have been able to counter the barbs, and if he wanted to counter the barbs, he couldn't counter the Inferno. So poor Teddy here. Didn't really work out for him. If he had not gone with the Golden Knight, I would have gone Balloon same lane as the push, because he had no elixir and we would have taken a tower. But I backed up our Barbarians with the Skelly Drags because I knew this guy had absolutely no way to counter them. He's not going to waste the Night Witch or Nado on Skelly Drags, so we decided to just go in with the Skelly Drags, backing up our Barbs and taking his tower all the way down. So it's small plays like this with the offense that aren't putting you in a bad position, but they also have a lot of upside for potential damage. And so here, this guy is for some reason he's still trying to play down 2 towers. We just went ahead and zapped to cycle to our Barbarians, and then the Barbarians just tanked for the Inferno Dragon so that we could go ahead and kill this Golem. The Inferno Dragon is so good as a card. It gets so much value in this matchup if you can manage to play the matchup right, or play the card right, I should say. So be careful when you're facing mid ladder. I will have a separate mid ladder video on this. I'll be playing some live mid ladder to show you guys what happens when you're facing the weird decks. But basically, scout out your opponent's deck by playing passively, defending all their cards, and potentially counter pushing if you know they're down on elixir. But yeah, just see what they've got, and then from there, see what you can do to get your Inferno Dragon some big value. Alright boys, we've got what's his name, Nate's deck coming up here. This guy is running a little variation on Nate's deck. Nate, I believe, runs the poison now, which is actually good for this deck, because you can manage to, actually, I don't know, you can get balloon value. So I think this is better as far as this deck versus Nate's poison miner deck. So I didn't realize what he was playing early. Here I realized after the Dark Prince, I saw the Dark Prince, and I was like, okay, this is Nate's deck. And then I believe he poisoned, and I was just like, okay, that's interesting. I just went with the balloon there to cycle to my lava, or my miner, so that I can stop the Dark Prince. The key to this matchup, and most matchups, like cycle-wise, take as little damage as you can in single, while also not, like, over-defending. Like, if there's a good opportunity for me to go lava or start up a push, I will go with the push. But ultimately, versus cycle decks, it's better to just play passively until double elixir, where you can afford to play defense and offense / get a LAVALOON minor arrow zap push down. Because if you think about it, this deck is way less powerful in single because you can't go with the LAVALOON arrow zap and stuff. So, I hope you guys saw that nice little Inferno Dragon placement that managed to activate King Tower, which would be very nice against the miner deck. If you can manage to activate King Tower, go ahead and do it, because it's going to be very clutch. Could potentially win you some games. I don't think it played too much of a part here, because this guy consistently played his miners over to the right corner, but still, excuse me. Still, I mean, it's pretty good, activation. It's pretty good value with the activation. I mean, there's no reason to not go with the activation. So here we just went with the arrows, and then I went with the miner here. And the reason I didn't use the zap is because I wanted to try and save the zap for offense. It's not that big of a deal. I didn't need to use zap, so I just decided to go ahead and save it. I went Inferno Dragon here, and the typical thing you need to look out for against Inferno decks or any deck, try and only start a LAVALOON push if you have your minor arrow zap available. So he is going to try and bait you out, not necessarily in this matchup, but a good player will try and bait out your cards so that you can't use minor arrow zap on offense. What we did here, basically just barb surround, we zapped that. We're just trying to get some damage on here, get rid of the Inferno Dragon, or get rid of the Inferno Tower, I apologize. We go with our Inferno Dragon, and then we also go with our second Lava Hound, and the goal of the second Lava Hound is to try and break through and get some nice damage. So here what we had to do, we had to go Skelly Drags here. I didn't want to use my Miner because I wanted to save my Miner for offense. He did delivery, so it's unfortunate, good delivery on his part. I probably shouldn't have went with that Zap. We could have maybe got some extra minor chip damage if I didn't go with that Zap. But as you could see, we sacked a little bit of damage on the right tower because I knew it wasn't devastating amounts of damage. And here I didn't defend this Dark Prince because I have the King Tower activated and that left tower is more healthy than the right tower. So I know he's still not going to go over to the left tower. He's not going to try and push and take our left tower because it's still 800 HP higher than the right one. So I went with the Skelly Drags here to try and stop him from going Inferno early. We got 2 nice drag hits, and we also managed to tank for this Inferno Tower for just a little bit. I did have to go Barbs on this Dark Prince because you can't sack 2 Dark Princes. Very nice play coming in here, though. We're going to be able to outcycle him just a tad bit so that he wasn't able to get this Inferno Tower down in time. And as you can see, we get the 2 balloon hits. So that's an upside for him not having the poison, or not having the rocket, sorry. Yeah, him having the poison means we can get more balloon damage. But basically, we won that game because we played passive and single, took some damage when we needed to take damage, or when we could afford to take damage. And overall, that was just a very well-rounded and well-played game. Alright, my boys, here we have got a Royal Recruits player who does manage to have the horrible combination of Fireball and Arrows. And Fireball and Arrows is such a nasty combination. I actually hate it with a passion. So it's very annoying that we're facing Fireball Arrows, of all things we could be facing. But with the first play, as far as this deck is concerned, I don't usually make the first play. I mean, it can be a Miner on the corner of their tower. You can go ahead and do that, or maybe a Zap on their tower. But ultimately, I'll just kind of wait for my opponent to make the first play, or give them a harmless poke with the Zap and the Miner if I don't have anything else. So I believe we went in with the Zap on his tower. Let me check. I think we did go with the Zap on his tower. Let me kind of speed it up a little bit. So we did. He gave us the hog thinking mark emoji, and nothing happened still, which was kind of annoying. So I believe what I did was I don't even remember. I don't even remember at this point. What did we do here? We kind of sat here for a little bit. I feel like he made the first play, besides my Zap. I'm not quite sure. Actually, I think we waited till double. Yeah, we waited till double, and then with about 5 seconds remaining till double, I did go with the lava. So it's okay, especially with this hand, because I have Barbarians and the Inferno Dragon in case the guy, like, completely rushes you in the opposite lane. So yeah, I wanted to see what this guy was going to do, and he recruits in the back, and boom, we start the game at double elixir. So you can go ahead and do that. LAVALOON is better in double elixir than it is in single elixir. So I mean, if you guys go ahead and do that, it's not the worst play in the world. So I decided to go with my balloon first and then go with the Barbarians. That way, basically what's happening is I'm forcing him to respond to my cards before he goes with his push. So, or before he backs up his push. So we managed to take his whole tower down. Sadly, I was a little sloppy on the defensive end. We could have taken less damage than we took here. But we managed to force out hogs, which actually turned the tide in our favor here, because that was a really bad royal hogs. And so ultimately, versus this deck, we're going to have to be careful to not give him good value Lava Hounds. So you can actually give your opponent the win by going Lava Hound in some cases. So we went with Lava Hound here because I knew his Fireball was out of hand, so there's nothing he could do to, like, stop me, stop my Barbarians or my Skelly Drags. So if he was to go in with the push, he would not be able to kill my Skelly Drags / Barbarians. That was the play there. That's why I went in with the lava, and that should be your guys's critique to, or not critique, sorry. I don't know what the word is. That should be the only reason you go in Lava Hound is if your opponent can't counter you. So basically, think about what your opponent's running. We took some damage from the Flying Machine because it would be fine there. And so we went with the Inferno Dragon with the the tanking of the flying machine being very beneficial here, because we did manage to kill the flying machine. But yeah, think about what your opponent's win condition is. Think about your opponent's possible responses before you go lava. So here I see he doesn't have fireball in hand. So what do? I go in with the lava. Why? Because I can counter his royal hogs with my barbarians. Just like that, we're going to manage to get some good value. And the barbarians are coming in on a push, which is nice. He has to go barb barrel over there. We're going to skelly dregs as well, just to kind of sit in this pocket for a little while longer. We're going to be able to arrow zap, and we are going to be able to barbarians and stop his royal hogs because he had to use the fireball on defense. So I hope you guys benefited from this video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me what I can do better. I'm going to be playing this deck a lot more in the future. I think I'm going to try and give you videos of all 3 of the major LAVALOON decks, or Lava Hound decks. And yeah, we'll go from there. We'll have some mid-ladder content for you guys as well soon. And we will have an end season push where hopefully I manage to upgrade my badge once again. If not, get a new personal best.